This is News Today with WDW News Today. I'm Tom Corliss of WDWNT.com. Please like this video, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell to make sure you never miss the latest from the Disney theme parks all around the world. But here now the news for June 16th, 2025. Actually, I lied. I have an ad to read first. The WDWNT summer auction is this coming weekend. I didn't even know. This is the first I'm reading it. I'm joking. I forgot about it, though. The auction catalog is now public, so head on over to auction.wdwnt.com and check out the record 750 items we have available this weekend. Like last time, the auction will be spread over 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, June 21st and 22nd, starting at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern each day. And again, be sure to tune in at auction.wdwnt.com to join us for exciting live auction where anyone can bid from the comfort of their home or wherever you happen to be. We've published the catalog. It's open now. Lots 1 through 300 will be available on Saturday, including shirts, ear hats, plush, tiki mugs, Funko Pops, posters, and collectibles from all over the Disney parks. We've also got some merch from the newly opened Universal's Epic Universe theme park. And then lots 301 to 750 will be Sunday. Sunday is specifically pins. It's just pins. So if you like pins, Sunday is the day that you will want to be a part of. That includes older pins, limited edition, hard to find, artist proofs, old EPCOT, plus pins from Paris and Tokyo and Shanghai and more. Again, our biggest auction ever. Early bidding is now open. Just head on over to auction.wdwnt.com. You can start bidding right now. We'll see you there. The first signs of construction near the Walt Disney World Railroad arrived earlier this January, and for most of the refurbishment work, half of the station's second floor balcony has been blocked off. Though some scrim has been removed from the second floor and work seemed near complete in March, scrim has gone back up over all of the second floor railings. There is also scrim construction walls and rolling planters blocking work on the first floor facing the park. On the left side of the station, beige scrim hangs over the faux stone walls. More red-tinted scrim covers the short walls of planters, and beige scrim covers walls on the other side of the station as well. A small patch of scrim is placed over a hole where a decorative element used to be located above the archway on the left side. The far left and center archways still have painted plywood pieces where decorative elements were also removed. There are signs of paintwork above the Main Street train station archways, but it's not complete. Some messy splotches of mismatched colors are visible. We hope it's not complete. Half of the interior staircase is open, leading guests past construction walls on the side, and the other half is blocked by scrim. The interior railings are also covered, and more of the balcony is blocked off than the previous Main Street train station refurbishment, only leaving guests a small area to sit on the upper level. All the old tile flooring has been removed, and it looks like crew members are getting ready to install new tiling. We saw stacks of tile sitting behind the scrim waiting to be installed. That's how we figured it out. You would assume that's what they're doing. Starting next month, the Frontierland train station will close and the Walt Disney World Railroad will temporarily operate in shuttle mode. And by temporarily, we mean for several years, meaning it'll travel backwards and forwards between Fantasyland, that's Storybook Circus, and Main Street. It'll be in shuttle mode until both the Cars expansion and the Villains Land are completed. Construction walls have come down in the center room of the Emporium at the Magic Kingdom, revealing another checkout counter was removed. The Emporium has been going through multiple stages of refurbishment as the store is reimagined with a new layout and color scheme. The back half of this room was blocked by construction walls for about 2 weeks, and like the other rooms, the space got new tile added to the floor. The old tile is mostly white with small black squares, while the new tile is brown with lighter squares breaking up the pattern. The line between the reimagined section of the room and the still old section is clearly visible. A border of green and white diamond separates the old and new. The most notable change is the removal of the large circular checkout counter that used to be located in this room. The missing counter was white with several registers. However, not all the registers in the space were regularly used because the room had much less space for queuing compared to some of the other checkout areas. Disney had demolished other checkout counters in the Emporium and installed new ones, all in an effort to improve foot traffic. The door at the back of the room also received a new emergency exit sign, now written in glowing letters. The old sign had more traditional red letters and a gold frame. In the next room, though, the one closest to Town Square, the cash registers have been removed as well. There's been no refurbishment work in this area yet, so we assume this counter will be the next one to be demolished or refurbished. I hate this. This is terrible. It looks so bad. What's funny is last night I actually went to Boardwalk and there's Thimbles and Thread and Screen Door General Store, or the stores at Boardwalk. And they did their modernization of the interior, as they've done with a lot of stores. I didn't think it was terrible. Look, I don't care for the cheap tile floor. It's not my favorite thing, and it's almost the same in every store you go in. That being said, they added there's displays of thimbles that they're hidden characters, actually. There's a really cool roller coaster window display they added. It's not the most egregious, and then I look at the Emporium and I'm like, I don't know. No, this doesn't work. At least at Screen Door, it still looks kind of old, but modern. I don't know. The Emporium refurb, it hurts my heart. I spent a lot of time in that store, and so it pains me greatly. I also, I was of a younger age when that I remember going to the grand opening of that middle section. For the kids out there, that used to be a street in the middle of the Emporium, and they decided in 2001 to get rid of the street and build more store. And so the Emporium would just continue down the whole side of the street. And that's what happened. I remember going to that grand opening, and because I'm very old. So yeah. I don't know. Let me know in the comments how you feel about the Emporium. I'm not crazy about it. The water wheel at the Swiss Family Treehouse in the Magic Kingdom has returned to full operation. The treehouse was closed for refurbishment back in November. It later partially reopened, but the refurbishment didn't wrap up until May. When all the scaffolding came down last month, the water wheel was spinning. However, the bamboo buckets on ropes were not moving. Now both elements are moving once again, transporting water up and down the treehouse. And though an iconic element of the treehouse, the water wheel had not been operational since late 2022. Swiss Family Treehouse is an opening day Magic Kingdom attraction located in Adventureland, so needless to say, it will eventually be replaced by something you hate. That's a joke. Nothing's been announced at this time. But either way, it just seems to be the way we're going right now. It's nice to see. It's nice to see the water wheel in full operation after several years. It's always good to see effects restored. That means someone cares, and I like when someone cares. The former Prairie Outpost candy store located in Magic Kingdom's Frontierland is now going to reopen as a hat store. Located in between the Country Bear Musical Jamboree and the Pecos Bill Tall Tale Inn and Cafe, Prairie Outpost and Supply used to be home to confections and other treats such as candy apples, Mickey Rice Krispie treats, and prepackaged snacks. However, the storefront closed during the COVID-19 pandemic and never returned. In 2021, after the parks reopened, construction walls were erected around the Frontierland boardwalk in front of the store, but it still never opened. However, Prairie Outpost is now being turned into a shop carrying wide-brimmed hats, classic fedoras, customized headwear, and more, according to the Walt Disney World website. Guests can become a fashion pioneer, it says, by shopping at the reimagined store. No opening date is listed, although the website says coming soon. It may be a venue hosted by Chapel Hats. Disney has a deal with them. They have a store at Disney Springs. Similarly, in Adventureland, you can find Sunglass Hut, so it's not that weird. That being said, we hate that, right? We hate to see just handing the store. So that means it's just going to be a modern hat store. And again, I know it's not the Old West anymore anyway, but I think it's odd. I think it's odd that it's just going to reopen as a Chapel Hat shop. For those that don't know, let's take a historic deep dive for a moment. That space begins its life. That is the indoor queue for the Country Bear Jamboree. That's what that was. And when the park opened, so many people wanted to see the Country Bears that room could not contain them. So imagine there was a full waiting room, and then the queue would leave and go into that space. And then it was not uncommon in the 70s for the queue to then leave that space and switch back up and down the walkway in Frontierland, because that was the end of the street. There wasn't anything back there. There was no Splash Mountain, Tiana. There was nothing back there to go to. So the bear queue was pretty much the end of the road. Yeah, and then when that finally died down later in like the 80s, they made it a store. You could find Country Bear merchandise for a while. And then it became like a candy shop for many, many years. And now it's nothing, but it's going to be a hat store. I mean, it's better to have open space than a closed space. But I don't like that there's a Sunglass Hut in Magic Kingdom. So I'm not going to like that there's a Chapel Hats in Magic Kingdom. This program is brought to you by our official travel agent sponsor, Be Our Guest Vacations. Your dream vacation begins with Be Our Guest and their concierge team of expert vacation planners. Head on over to beourguestvacations.com/WDWNT, and their team will design your next magical vacation, from the Walt Disney World and Disneyland Resorts to Disney Cruise Line to Adventures by Disney and more. And the best part is their concierge services are 100% free. So book today. It's been a long time since we've had that. It looks like King Arthur has finished his vacation and returned the sword and the stone to its refurbished anvil at the Magic Kingdom. Of course, we reported back last Thursday that the sword had been removed from the stone and that there was a new King of England, but it's now clear the removal was for the refurbishment of the anvil. The stone itself appears to be untouched during this. They just fixed up the anvil, which probably needs pretty much an annual refurb to keep that bronze looking good. So nice to, again, good to see someone caring, but the sword is back. So go ahead, kids, go try your luck. Try to pull it out. And if you accidentally pull it out, then you get trespassed like that guy did. People know that story? I don't even know. A couple years ago, there was a very strong man who actually yanked the sword out of the stone, which isn't supposed to happen. And then I think he got trespassed for doing it. But either way, the sword is back in the stone at Magic Kingdom. Go get your photos. Crews have started outlining a new foundation for the cool ship, or whatever will replace it, in Tomorrowland at Magic Kingdom. Crews have placed some small strips of wood in the dirt area that was formerly the cool ship. Short pieces of rebar stick out of the ground around the new frame. There's also a wood frame placed in a nearby planter, which is full of packed dirt. And after suddenly closing in May, the cool ship was completely dismantled and removed from Magic Kingdom. The Walt Disney World website, however, says the outdoor location is expected to reopen later this year. We don't know if it'll look like it used to, complete with the cool scanner mist spray attached, or if it'll have a completely new design. Will the Flight of the Navigator ship, if it is or isn't, that return to the top? The word on the street is it's gone. It's not coming back. And so they're building a new Coke installation. We'll have to wait and see if that's true. You know, not all rumors pan out, but that's going to be sad because people love, this is one of those little Tomorrowland touches from the 1994 era that people really love, myself included. So it'd be sad to lose another piece of that, but if that's the case, hopefully something as cool is going in its place. Oh, this is some riveting news. I can't believe this is what we talk about on this show. Some new speed humps have been added to a section of the entry lanes leading towards the EPCOT parking lot. People in the audience are laughing, and rightfully so, because this is the minutia we get into here. 2 sets of speed humps have been added to the roadway approaching the EPCOT parking plaza. They're black and yellow and are placed just behind the rumble strips that are already present in this location. At this time, the first set of speed humps only extends through the left lanes. It's likely Disney will add these all the way across for safety to get people to slow down. It's not uncommon to hear stories of people speeding in there at 50, 60, 70 miles an hour, which obviously is a great safety concern. So I think they're going to be adding these everywhere they don't have them at this point, which is probably the right decision. As the Test Track Reimagining project draws nearer to completion, cast members have begun testing queue videos and have been overheard making safety announcements as the ride vehicles continue to run. Our reporters were able to snag a few images and video of the new Test Track queue clips during a trip to EPCOT, although it's hard to tell, parts of the video are reminiscent of themes from the original World of Motion. When the Reimagining was first announced, Imagineers planned to bring that spirit of optimism from World of Motion to the next iteration of the ride. The updated film will likely also reference General Motors, since the attraction has reverted to its original sponsor in name. Of course, Chevrolet is owned by General Motors, so they never really left. Recently, most of the construction walls were removed from the walkways around the Test Track building, leaving only those standing across the sidewalk closest to mission space. Rolling planters continue to line the nearby walkways, still blocking access to the Test Track queue area. Construction work isn't complete yet. There's still plastic wrap around the supports and some edges of the overhang. Several of the added Magic Band Plus touch points are still also wrapped in material to protect them during the construction. However, crews appear to be adding more final touches each time we visit EPCOT. The new white lampposts located outside of the attraction are near the newly renamed merchandise location are also turned on for testing. Formerly called the Test Track Simporium, the Test Track shop will now be called Test Track Gear Shop. In our Instagram video, you can see part of the queue video being played, hear vehicles testing, and get a listen to a cast member making safety announcements. Of course, the new Test Track sign was also recently revealed by Walt Disney Imagineering. The Jim Henson Company is considering bringing MuppetVision 3D to the world of virtual reality, according to Disney fan site Laughing Place and their X account. Attendees at a 70th anniversary panel for the Jim Henson Company were told that discussions have been started with Disney about a possible VR release. Notably, Lisa Henson, the CEO of the Jim Henson Company, stated that the attraction has been documented with VR cameras. MuppetVision, one of the last projects from the late Jim Henson, recently closed at Disney's Hollywood Studios on June 7th. And while there are currently no confirmed plans, Disney did note they were preserving the film from the attraction. Fans speculated that it might return to Hollywood Studios in one form or another, but for now, guess we'll have to wait for Muppets to take over the rock and roller coaster. Details for the possible VR release were not discussed. I think we're very early in this discussion, but it's worth noting again that Disney filmed it. They filmed it with cast members in it for regular consumption. They filmed it with the equipment for VR. It was very well documented. That to me is not as good as, restoring the attraction. Also, I don't know that, look, VR has been around for a hot minute. And I think at this point, if it has not become ubiquitous, it's not going to. I think it had that moment. Apple jumped in, and if no one jumped in with Apple, then I don't think it's going to happen. So that's great that if you own a VR headset, you'll get to do this, but at the same time, not a whole lot of people do. So I don't know. I'm not happy with what's happened, but I'm glad at least some thought went into preserving it. In the meantime, if you want to relive the last ever public MuppetVision showing, we have it right here on our channel for you to watch. Again, not as good as the real thing, nothing is, but it's the best we have. This program is brought to you by Unlocked Magic. You can get your Walt Disney World and Universal Orlando tickets for the lowest price available. Join the hundreds of five-star reviews and the thousands of families that they've been able to help save with over $10 million in ticket sales alone. And right now, they have a special offer you will not find anywhere else. They're offering 10% off the price of the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party tickets. Find them at unlockedmagic.com/WDWNT to help you save on your next trip to the Orlando theme parks. A limited time sneak peek of Disney and Pixar's upcoming Elio is now showing in Walt Disney Presents, along with a small exhibit space adjacent to the preview. An ad for the sneak peek greets guests walking into Disney's Hollywood Studios. Elio and his alien pal Glorden appear to be running through space in a sign that looks very similar to the film's official poster art. The film has been added to the marquee of Walt Disney Presents and to the doors leading to the Walt Disney Theater, where guests can catch the sneak peek of the film. Early film sketches and character images have been put together in a large collage on one of the wall displays. Matching the space setting of Elio, the background is purple and blue with stars, and Ambassador Mira, Ambassador Taurus, I'm sure all these names are being pronounced wrong, the movie's not out yet, I have no idea, and several forms of ooh are featured on the left side of the board. Several other aliens, including Glorden and Lord Grigon, are showcased on the right side. And a glass display case in the center of the walkway also features sketches and art from the upcoming film. Small clay models of Elio and Glorden are on display, or maquettes as they're commonly known, alongside a short description of the film. Elio and his alien pals have also taken over Merchant of Venus at the Magic Kingdom ahead of the film's release on June 20th. A merchandise collection is also now available all across Walt Disney World. Furthermore, a new Elio photo op has been added to Disney Springs near the entrance to the AMC Theater. There's also a special blue-purple, there's a space carpet on the other side of the AMC you could walk down. The next section of DinoLand USA is set to go extinct to make way for the Tropical Americas expansion of Disney's Animal Kingdom, as the Boneyard has set its closing date. According to Disney, they will shutter the Boneyard forever on September 1st, 2025. That's the last day of operation. It'll be closed on September 2nd. This will mark the start of the second phase of construction on the Tropical Americas land, which will entirely replace DinoLand USA. Guests with smaller explorers need not worry, though. Disney has said that the Tropical Americas land will include a new playground area for small children once it opens. I mean, here's the thing. If that opens in 2027, will your small explorers still be small explorers? For some of you, it may not apply anymore. But details on what this area will include have not been shared. All they said is it will be a playground. That's all we know. Other DinoLand closures for the Tropical Americas, which include Restaurantosaurus and Dinosaur, will be shared at a later date. Disney previously stated that Dinosaur would remain open throughout all of 2025, and the ride will be shuttered to be rethemed to an Indiana Jones attraction. So here's what happened it's kind of refreshing to see that Disney, I think, realized they need more time to hit that 2027 deadline. And so Boneyard, everything was supposed to close early next year. So we're talking January most likely for Dinosaur and Restaurantosaurus. Boneyard was lumped in with that, and I think someone came to realize, hey, we kind of could use a couple more months to get this out of the way and get started on this carousel, which I believe the carousel sits in the space that if you're coming into the land, the left side, because the Boneyard straddles both sides of the walkway. The left side is the more traditional playground. I would say the right side is the dig site. That left side is directly in the way of where that carousel is going to go. And I think they need some time to get that out of the way and get that carousel started on. So yeah, September 1st will be the last time to go in the Boneyard and be a 36-year-old man going down the slide. I'll be doing that. There's now a crane towering over the Tropical Americas construction site at Animal Kingdom. The crane is near the back of the site, beyond the former Chester and Hester's Dinosaur Treasures gift shop. Most of the fencing and walls that create the edge of DinoLand USA have been demolished, and the crane is past the former border. We couldn't see exactly what the crane was doing from our vantage point in the Boneyard, but it's likely lifting large construction materials or moving debris. Beyond the crane are trailers for crew and cast working on the project. However, ex-user BioReconstruct has shared some overhead shots of the work happening in the area that will eventually become the Tropical Americas. In the first image of the construction shared from above, several construction vehicles and lots of equipment can be seen, including that crane we just talked about. Nearer to the Boneyard are several other vehicles, including a VacCon truck in the old Dinorama space. This is a giant hydrovac used to prepare the ground for new structure by breaking up materials with water and then vacuuming them up. There are also several small orange netting fences on wooden frames in the area. These appear to be blocking holes in the ground or marking areas that work needs to be done. BioReconstruct also shared some images of the future entrance to the Indiana Jones ride. No construction is visible on the exterior of the current dinosaur attraction, but I assume in January we'll start seeing that work happen. And although the Dino Institute billboard and the area around the buildings has been demolished, the former Chester and Hester's Dinosaur Treasures gift shop is still standing. That will be reused in the new Tropical Americas land, likely again as a gift shop. The project is scheduled to open in 2027. I'm going to knock on wood that they make this deadline because it seems not that far away. A few new resort-themed items have arrived at Disney's Contemporary Resort. We found them in the Bayview Gift Shop, or BVG. There's a monorail magnet, which retails for $14.99. There's a new pin with Mickey Mouse, which retails at $12.99. And my personal favorite, there's a button-up shirt of the Contemporary for $64.99. I'll have to get this. Five-legged goat shirt, sign me up. The lobby of Disney's Grand Floridian Resort is being reimagined with construction walls blocking various areas as crews demolish the old and construct the new. In our last update, we noted that the entire birdcage and its dais were gone, leaving behind a hole covered in white tarps. There are also now white tarps on two columns behind the birdcage's old location. More obvious now is the hole in the ground nearby. The plywood labeled hole was here when we last visited, but we thought it was related to the hole where the birdcage used to be. It's actually covering a hole in the carpet. The carpet has been peeled back and there's a long hole in the concrete revealing dirt and some rebar. Crew members on site removed the plywood and carpeting back over the hole while we were photographing the area. And though the carpet is still intact, we know it will ultimately be replaced. And while the old check-in area is closed, check-in desks are in the middle of the lobby. Crews removed the wallpaper of the check-in area and there are currently sheets hanging over the wall. There are still light fixtures on the wall behind the sheets. Some stripped wallpaper remains on the right. Wallpaper is gone from the seating area across from the check-in desk, and the wall paneling has also been stripped away, revealing some of the inner framework. The windows have not been touched. At the Garden View Tea Room, which never reopened during the COVID shutdown, the flooring has been removed. On the second floor, there are white sheets hanging in front of the display windows of M. Mouse Mercantile for more wall work. The store is still open from 8:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily, though. Behind the sheets, it's clear the crew stripped the wallpaper from this area as well. A set of monorail station doors is also unavailable and blocked off by a white sheet. Just want to quickly mention Carousel of Products at carouselofproducts.com. We still have this wonderful shirt, our Spaceship Sunset, available. Very limited quantities, this as well as our Space Mountain 50th button-up. Be sure to get them now before they are gone because the cheap 3D trick shirt is history. They're gone and they're not coming back, just like MuppetVision. That's sad to say. but I said it. We also still have our lithographs from the event as well, and there is a special deal on those if you buy more than one. There are 3 we've released, but also the deal works on our older lithographs as well. The deal is if you buy any 2 posters, you pay $20 each, 3 posters, $18 each, and 4 or more, $15 each is the cheapest we've ever offered these. The discount will appear in your shopping cart automatically. All posters are eligible, and you can stack this discount with your WIGS member discount as well. In a recent publication from Meyer Werft, the shipyard tasked with building the next several Disney Cruise Line ships, a total of 5 new ships have all received hull numbers along with their expected completion dates. Meyer Werft Shipyard in Papenburg, Germany recently released that updated list of all the new Disney Cruise Line ships under construction. The list assigns several of the upcoming projects a hull number for the first time. Hull numbers, listed as yard numbers on the publication, help identify each ship being built. With several of the ships getting numbers for the first time, it implies that construction work on the next several ships is likely to begin soon, or at least pick up speed for those that have already been started. Since building a new cruise ship is a multi-year process, the list currently includes dates all the way through delivery in 2031. The list includes several already announced ships, such as the upcoming Disney Destiny, that's expected to set out on its maiden voyage on November 20th. The Disney Destiny was just recently set afloat for the first time, as we recently shared. The upcoming Disney Adventure, which was originally named the Global Dream before being purchased by Disney in 2022, will also have its maiden voyage out of Singapore, maybe on December 15th if they finish it. The new numbers are all related to upcoming projects ranging from 2027 to 2031. The list includes numbers 722, 723, 731, 732, and 733. First, the number 723 is the nearest delivery date of 2027 and is categorized, along with the Disney Destiny and Treasure, as being of the Wish class size of ships. Meanwhile, the 722 is assigned to the upcoming ship for the Oriental Land Company, who operates Tokyo Disney, which is expected to be delivered in 2028 and begin operation in 2029. The other 3 numbers are all listed under Disney Cruise Line, but are placed in different sections because they're all part of the new class of ships that is expected to be smaller than the Wish class. While not given an official name yet, the new class will be 20% larger than the Magic and Wonder, but still smaller than the Dream and Wish classes. These will also be upgraded with the technology to run on a variety of fuels, including a battery system to support the main engines and feature a streamlined hull. The first of these 3 ships, numbered 731, is coming in 2029. The other 2, 732 and 733, are expected to be delivered in 2030 and 2031 respectively. Assuming that Disney Cruise Line does not retire the Magic and Wonder ships, which they have made no mention of, by the way, all these announced additions would bring the total number of Disney Cruise Line vessels to 13 by the end of 2031. Ahead of the maiden voyage of the Disney Adventure, Disney Cruise Line has shared a first look at the cover art for an exclusive original Marvel comic for the ship. The first look was shared on the official Instagram account for Disney Cruise Line Singapore. The cover is for the special edition first issue of Amazing Adventures, an original 32-page comic that will be available exclusively aboard the Disney Adventure. The comic is a collaboration between Disney Cruise Line and Marvel and is created by award-winning writer Alyssa Wong, artist Lanil Francis Yu, and editor-in-chief C.B. Cebulski. A closer look at each half of the cover was shared in the post as well, showing the sketch details of all the superheroes featured, including Captain America, Miss Marvel, the Wasp, Wave, which is not one I knew about, Black Widow, Deadpool, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Black Panther, Ant-Man, Thor, and Baby Groot. Further details on the comic's content have not been shared, but guests will likely find out when the Disney Adventure takes off on its maiden voyage exactly what's in store for our Marvel heroes. So funny enough, we were recording the news, and I said during our test track story that it seems like they're very close to being done, although late summer is not typically June and July, but all the signs are there that they are nearing completion of test track. Funny enough, when we wrapped up, I opened my phone, and on WDWNT.com, wouldn't you know it, that Disney has announced the reopening date for test track presented by General Motors at EPCOT. It will reopen on July 22nd. That's not long from now. We also got some new details. The attraction update will debut an all-new musical score, as well as scenes that highlight technology, making our cars smarter and our lives more fun. Making our lives fun. It's fun to be free. I think we're starting to see a little bit of that connective tissue to World of Motion, kids. One of those scenes showcases how vehicles can use advanced cameras and sensors to see the world they drive through. Imagineers were able to represent this tech utilizing over 29,000 points of light, While Test Track has always celebrated new and future automotive technology, it's also a reminder of what the road trip is all about. Spending quality time in the company of friends and family while embracing the beauty of the world around you. The team is hard at work on the finishing details, detailing the final details, if you will, getting the attraction green light ready. Disney also said we should keep an eye out for more information in the coming weeks about special previews for cast members, pass holders, Disney Vacation Club members, Golden Oak residents, and Club 33 members who will ride the attraction before it officially reopens. So we are even closer than July 22nd to this being operational because previews will have to be before that. That's going to be a real big week at Disney World. Of course, Starlight, the nighttime parade, is debuting July 20th. This will be July 22nd. We assume there's a media event that ties them both together, probably. So yeah, there you have it. Test Track's opening probably a lot sooner than we thought. And my hopes are still high for a reference to my beloved Seven joke. Please, please someone make it happen. I hope it has happened. I think at this point it will have had to have been installed already. I hope someone did it. For the absolute latest on these stories and all that didn't make it into today's show, be sure to check WDWNT.com and follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. You can support the entire team behind the show and others by joining the WDWNT Interglobe Society at patreon.com/WDWNT. Get access to exclusive content, discounted show and event tickets, and more. Special shout out to our WIGS members watching who make this show happen every week. For the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is Tom Corliss saying, enjoy the rest of your today. Have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Wave goodbye with your tiny arm. Bye, everybody.